Sports Talker Nation, welcome back once again. It's your host, the G-Man, as we continue with our team-by-team 2016 NFL Draft review. Today we're going to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I love what the Jaguars did. I think they may have had the best draft of any team out there. Starting at the top, so they desperately wanted Jalen Ramsey to fall to them. They weren't sure he would. Dallas certainly seemed like a reliable landing spot for him. When they took Zeke Elliott, the only reason they didn't run up to the podium to take Jalen Ramsey is because they had to decide between Jalen Ramsey and Myles Jack. Yeah, there were some injury concerns about Jack, but he is a beast, playmaking difference maker on a defense with a coach that desperately needs that support. They eventually decided to go with Ramsey, and then to their shock, amazement, and absolute joy, Jack falls to them in the second round. So in my opinion, they wind up with two top 8 talents in the first 2 rounds for a defense that desperately needs it. They have decent offensive talent. They have a good young quarterback. I like Blake Bortles. They really needed to build out that defensive side. Gus Bradley is a defensive coach, and now they got 2 stud defensive players in the first 2 rounds. Their good draft doesn't stop there. Yannick Ngakoue from Maryland, he's a pass rusher teams don't know about, but I know about him. Let me tell you, he is quick off the edge. He, at the very least, will be a situational helper for them. They stayed with their theme of defense in the 4th round. Sheldon Day, I'm not hugely sold on Day as much as some other people are, but he was highly productive at Notre Dame. Important position, played more of a run-stopping role, but if he can get a little bit of interior pressure to go with some of the other defensive line they already have, what a great way to start the draft for those first 4 rounds. Late in the draft, again, they stuck with the defensive need. They went with Jonathan Woodward late, Tyron Holmes. They did go with a backup quarterback, which I thought was interesting. I guess it's just a developmental quarterback. You need to have a backup. Brandon Allen, I think, is a smart kid. I think he's a good long-term backup. And since they don't need a starter, it made a ton of sense to get somebody in there to pair in that room with Bortles and just kind of sit back and be the number 2 that long-term can step in and win you a game. I almost view that as a Jim Kelly, Frank Reich situation. I know that's very high praise for Bortles, who's had a ton of problems, a lot of interceptions and everything else, but I really think he's the real deal. I think he's Big Ben Jr. If he can be a little smarter, I think he's Big Ben Jr. So there's no reach in that draft to me. I think they have, at the very least, 4 contributors, up to 5 contributors, 4 of them starters. 2 of them I think are going to be all pros. And I don't mean pro bowlers. I mean all pros where they're in the top 2 of their position in Jack and Ramsey. Does Jack have some injury problems? Yeah, maybe. He may not last through his second contract, but if you get 5 good years out of a player and they would be good years, I think it's totally worth it. A lot of defensive help. I'll say Myles Jack is probably their best reach as well as their best steal. I think he's got a chance to be really something special. You take that chance. Good for the Jags. I root for the Jags. I think they've gotten a bum deal. I think they're getting ready to turn the corner. If that defense can match up their offense, I think they're going to be ready to go. So I give them a solid A, maybe my best mark of the draft. With your 2016 team-by-team review of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm your host, G-Man, and I am out.